Everyone, I honestly think we might have just found, like, my new favorite sports anime. Like, yes, we're only 3 episodes into Blue Lock, and it's just getting started. There's time for it to get worse, better, stay the same, but, I mean, I'm pretty good at figuring out if something's gonna be a favorite of mine very early into something. And I gotta be honest, while people may disagree that it's not the best sports anime ever, and, some people be like, no, you're letting the hype get to you. What's wrong with letting the hype get to someone? If the hype's getting to you, it means you're happy and excited. And Blue Lock is the freshest take I have seen on a sports series, maybe ever. And the characters are wild, but the whole concept, as much as it doesn't make sense initially, like maybe in the first couple of episodes, the idea of building the most egotistical striker makes so much sense, and episode 3 goes a hell of a long way and explains what is like going from nothing into one. Like, what is that? Like, how are you going to build not only a striker who can take every shot, make every shot, and basically do everything they need to, but then put them on the professional team and have the team still work. And I think what makes this episode so brilliant is that it makes so much sense in such a quick amount of time after initially thinking to myself, like, damn, like, it just doesn't make sense in a way, but it's just so badass it's hard not to get hyped up. The whole concept of them just completely getting hammered. They got a single goal as King Baro over here just stole the show and made everyone, he's our daddy, because honestly, his big dick energy, he slapped every fool around in this match, his team included. But the whole concept of, you have, on one hand, the person who gets the most goals is going to be safe, so everyone's trying to be the striker who will do that, but you also have to work as a team, but it's a free-for-all, right? And the concept of, once that one person, the one sticks out, and everyone else will just fall in line. The positions will start making sense naturally. And unlike, as they say in this episode when my boy Jinpachi pops up, he's saying, hey, the reason Japan does so well with baseball is the roles are very defined, and it's easy to find people to fit that formation. The reason we struggle with soccer is the positions and what a different position needs to do in any particular moment changes so frequently. And I love the concept because it makes so much sense about why they're trying to build the most egotistical striker, but how it would still relate to a team when they eventually get there. But most importantly, where they're currently at as it stands. The person who will be that on their team, it's hard to say, right? I mean, we have our boy Sagi, who was right in front and center, but then ended up passing, and the person who ended up getting the shot wasn't him. And honestly, it just goes back to episode 1 when he realized, like, I shouldn't have passed and I should have took the shot. But in this case, passing actually led to a goal. But I love the concept of what they're doing here because the way the team immediately shattered, like, not like they were on good terms to begin with, but as soon as you put that, here's a way for you to excel and everyone else to fall in line, everyone tries to take it. And the whole concept of basically picking your roles to begin with through rock, paper, scissors, I mean, it's not going to gain you respect, it's basically luck of the draw. But I love the fact that you can quickly see why it didn't work on their team, but how quickly it did on the Kings team, because it's very similar, like everyone was kind of doing their own bullshit, but then as soon as one man came in and took the ball and proved like, holy shit, not only can he take the ball, he can get past everyone, ourselves included, and get us a goal. It's no wonder why the team formed around him. And I think that's what gets me the most excited about Blue Lock going forward, is the way that the team can be formed, the team can be crumbled, but how different characters will steal the show and lead their teams to greatness. I mean, the match we heard about after theirs, I think it was like an 8-0 victory or something like that. The match we followed here was a 5-1. But it's nice to see because there's so much at stake, and it feels like at surface level, even if you only know the bare minimum about the sport, you see how you would want to push back and say, how would an egotistical striker make sense about how they're building him, because it is still a team sport. But then this episode comes in, and it's that kind of eureka moment where you're like, oh, everything just clicked perfectly, and I completely understand the point of Blue Lock now, both as a story, but also how it would craft the perfect striker who would take all the shots, but most importantly, the team would follow and defend and do all the positions they need to, sort of a thing. I did like that Jinpachi actually kind of popped up and gave them some words of advice, because I think the reason being, even though they lost, and I mean, that would look as a failure from most people's point of view, but the fact that they kind of had a breakthrough moment and they're on the right track about what his message meant, and then he gave them the kind of extra support about picking your weapon, the position, and everything like that. It's just great to see how Blue Lock is just stealing the show so easily. Saturdays is an absolutely packed day, like, don't get me wrong. And everything I cover on Saturdays I love, but the pure passion and the excitement, the fresh take both on the visual department, the whole demon eyes and everything, like, it just feels so different, but so smoothly animated that you're like, damn, it's like watching real people pass the ball and do all these different things, while still having that classic shonen sports anime directing with the dramatic shots and, honestly, the demonic shots at times. But it's the way the characters and the sports being broke down and put back to where it started hundreds of years back, to now seeing how they can just completely change Japan's future while simultaneously shattering so many up-and-coming players' future if they don't make it. And like I said, like, some people love to harp on anyone who's excited about something new. No way it can be your favorite, no way it can be one of the best, but it's like, if you're feeling that passionately about something in the moment, let people have that passion. I've seen it so many times throughout different anime seasons, and the thing that makes Blue Lock so special is that it doesn't feel like a one-trick pony. If this was a one-trick pony, episodes 1, 2, and 3 would feel exactly the same with the same type of formula. But episode 1 was the initial shock of like, what are we watching? Where is this going? This is so different. It's basically Squid Game Soccer Edition. Like, that's an initial shock. Episode 2, the whole concept of the demon and unleashing that inner demon. Very different shock appeal, but equally interesting in my opinion. With episode 3 really showcasing why they're going about finding a striker in the way that they're doing, but most importantly showing how both the team needs to be there, but how they need to find that one person who can be the king, as we saw with Barrow. And I think that's what makes Blue Lock so special. It has a great production, it has an intriguing premise and introduction, and the characters are all wacky but self-centered and motivated by their own desires. But the way it all meshes so messy, but in such an entertaining way. It's messy in the sense that they just don't mesh well. They don't get along. But then there's these elements of, you see the potential, you see how they could become that, and we're glad they're not the King Barrow just right away, because otherwise the show would be just watching the best always be the best. And we're right now in the underdog section of the story, and this show is awesome. It slaps. I love it. I don't get too excited about sports series all too often. Honestly, the last big one that I really was like taken by surprise was Megalobox, and that is a masterpiece. Season 2 even more so than its first. But still, the fact that this feels like a classic sports series, but just done so fresh, so new and exciting, I understand why this one went from I heard no one talk about it to it blowing up on the internet prior to the anime releasing, and I completely will be the biggest fanboy as long as they deliver episodes that are this good. And I am so excited for more. If you disagree with my hype, I get it. Everyone has their different preferences. Just let me enjoy my hype, because you don't get that level of excitement all too much. And I do want to say, I appreciate everyone dropping those likes, dropping the comments. Like I've said, YouTube doesn't like it when you do 4 videos in a day. They don't recommend it as strongly, but the video has been popping pretty good, so I really do appreciate the continued support. And as long as the videos continue to do well, we'll do these videos on Saturday rather than Sunday. But thoughts, feelings, ideas down below and where you think the show might go from here, do let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.